You sit there. Are we going to sign? Reggie, we need to help Rachel learn animals. She's learn. You ready? Yeah? Reggie. So every deaf child gets a teacher of the deaf, and it's kind of tradition for it's tradition for either a deaf person or the teacher of the deaf to give the deaf child their sign name. And when Jamie, where you sit down? No. Jamie, here's his Jam. So a little deaf girl gave him his sign name because she said his name was Jammy. So Jam stuck. And Reggie is a bit of a whirlwind, aren't you? Jamie gave him his sign name Reggie, and he gave his brother sign name Arnie because he was calm, but he was a couple of weeks old. So yeah, that's how you got your sign name. So now every Reggie he meets will be the same to make it easier for him. So for example, when he's at school, to finger spell names for every child is too much. So his brother's called Freddie for Freddie Frog.
Yeah.
So he's got a Freddie in his school. He's also Freddie.
Tell me what Reggie can hear with his implants.
Currently, he'll be able to hear you now. He's really good at identifying words he's confident with.
Okay.
Having a conversation, like some words that he doesn't know, he'll hear sound, but he won't be able to interpret what they mean.
Okay.
So like, if I said, where's baby? Reggie, where's Arnie? Where's Arnie? Is he with Auntie? Yeah? So I could say, where's baby? And because he knows those words, he'd be able to respond to me.
And is it because he can hear and recognise the words, or is he lip reading, or a bit of both?
It is both, a bit of both, but we've been doing a lot of practice in the car when he's sat behind me.
So you know that it's the sound that he can hear, not the...
And obviously with his audiology hearing tests, he'll be sat facing and playing a game, and the noise comes from the side, so you know he's hearing it because it's not in front of him. And your other brother's Reef, isn't he? Like a fish. Yeah, and Arnie. And you've got
so many brothers.
And Freddie. And Reef. Yeah.
Aww. Can you tell me a little bit, Megan, about how you realised that Reggie was potentially deaf or hard of hearing?
It was quite a long journey. He failed his newborn hearing test twice, and it was because it was during lockdown and COVID. They came to your house, and it was his left ear that he failed in. And she kind of came back the third time, and she was like, yeah, it's fine. So nothing was followed up. It should have been. He should have been seen by audiology. And then it was little things like my partner, we've done a lot of building work in our house, and he, like as a baby, he would never wake to drilling or banging or anything. So we were a little bit concerned. I think he was 2. It was his second birthday. He was seen by the paediatrician because we were just a bit worried that he was a little bit behind. Speech wasn't really developing. He had hypermobility in his hips, so we wanted like an overall assessment for him. And she did say, I'll refer to audiology just because you've got concerns. So he was 2. And then he was probably about 2.5. And I noticed, I still remember it to this day, I was in Sainsbury's and he would run off, and all of a sudden he wouldn't turn to me when I shout. I would shout, Reggie, come back. And yeah, he just wouldn't turn around. So I chased up the audiology referral, and sadly, she hadn't made it. So the GP re-referred, and then audiology saw him. He was a little bit like this during the assessment in audiology, so it was difficult to say. But
you were cheeky.
But they said they saw him twice, and they said point blank, he can hear you. Look, if I say this, Reggie, where's your shoes? And he did. He looked down at her shoes, not his, hers.
Yeah.
And I kind of went into breakdown. I said, look, I don't believe you. He's not looking at your eyes. He's looking at your lips. Like, he's taught himself to lip read, to understand. She said, okay, we'll get you in with the head of audiology. And literally within half an hour, he was diagnosed as profoundly deaf. Moderate to severe in the right. And that was September. By December, his hearing aids were at full capacity, and it had got worse. Don't know why. And then he qualified for cochlear implants. You got your new ears, haven't you?
What was the biggest surprise for you along the way in terms of like raising a deaf child?
I was incredibly naive because when he was fitted with his hearing aids, I thought he's a hearing child now, he's going to be able to hear everything. I didn't realise how in depth it goes. Like, he could hear different frequencies, he couldn't hear certain frequencies, like low pitched sounds he couldn't hear at all. I was very naive to that, and me and Aaron were both the same, and it was a bit of a shock when he had his hearing aids fitted that he couldn't hear still. You think these devices in his ears that sounds awful have fixed him. That was really difficult to digest, is the fact that hearing can't be fixed. Even now, he's got his implants, but as soon as they're off, he is a deaf child. And I think that was the hardest as a parent. You know, you're given these little things to put in your ears, and you think, oh, you can hear. And yeah, the journey continues.
I'm very distracted by this level of cuteness. Like, it's quite obscene how cute you are.
Are you cute?
Yes, you are. What are some of the biggest challenges you've experienced in day-to-day? As a parent of a hearing child, you wouldn't even think about. What are those challenges that you've encountered?
Going out can be really difficult. Road safety, for example, if he goes and I try and call, it's easier now because he can identify my voice. But yeah, going out's really hard because you don't realise how much you rely on calling your child back when they're running away, or shouting if there's danger. Stop! Like, he wouldn't be able to hear. Oh, is it a fly? Is it a fly? Little? And car journeys are incredibly difficult because he's so visual. He will undo his seatbelt, he'll climb and tap me to get my attention and try and sign to me. So signing and driving is really difficult. And also, like, you can't have a conversation with him in the car without looking at him and using your hands. So he'll get excited about a tractor or an aeroplane, and he wants to sign and communicate, but obviously I'm trying to explain to him, I've got to focus on the road and drive. It's having day-to-day conversations with your kids. You don't realise how easy it is until you can't. It's always visual for him. I couldn't just sit at the dinner table or while I'm cooking have a chat. I've got to be present down at his level, signing, and that is hard. It's amazing, but it is difficult.
How have you found dealing with others in those situations?
Going shopping has always been difficult because he will have his breakdowns, and I have. At first, I would shout and tell him off or shout him back just to please other people's ears, because I was looked at like, oh, she's just being lazy, she's not calling. Like, one man actually said to me, was leaving Sainsbury's and he started running off and he didn't have his hearing aids in, and an old man said to me, are you not going to bother calling him back or telling him off? I just looked at him and said, he's deaf, he can't hear me, what's the point? And at that stage I thought, why am I doing that? I'm doing it not for me, not for him, but just so everyone else doesn't judge me, and actually let them. We know he can't hear me, so don't get me wrong. Sometimes I naturally do it, like, Reggie, stop. Then I'm like, oh, you haven't got your ears on, but you do get judged if he's not wearing them. Now he has his implants. People are very empathetic He does have his meltdowns because communication, even now, it can be so difficult if we don't understand each other. If he doesn't understand why I'm saying no to something, he will just drop to the floor. And the staff and people have come up to me saying you're doing a really good job, and people have offered to help me. Now it's more obvious, the judgment's less, but there was a lot.
And obviously you also have 3 hearing children.
Yeah.
So how has that been, going from 2 hearing children to having a deaf child to then obviously having another hearing child? I'm assuming you have to parent quite differently.
I think me and Darren, both of us are kind of like, we've just got on with it. We've adapted our life, we've adapted our parenting, we're learning sign, and again, like we were practicing last night actually, our sign language, and during the course you're meant to have your voice off and just sign, but like Darren said, we need to do both because we need to teach him sign, but we need to teach Arnie, our youngest, speak.
And I guess also for Arnie to pick up on signs, he needs to hear the words as well to
Absolutely,
to be able to figure
together
out what he's got to do.
Yeah, and actually seeing it is, Arnie was signing before he spoke, and speech-wise, they're learning. He's 2. They're learning they're at the same level developmentally, and they're teaching each other, and it's absolutely incredible. Arnie will say something and he'll copy it. He says "stop it" a lot, and then Reggie starts saying it, and with the sign "stop it." When I'm talking, even to my hearing kids, I end up signing. It's just become natural.
How has it been finding the additional support that you need? What support have you needed that maybe you didn't anticipate needing, or like what have those challenges been along the way?
To begin with, we were very much alone until his diagnosis, and his teacher of the deaf has genuinely been our lifesaver. He's fully fought Reggie's corner for everything. We genuinely wouldn't be here at this stage if it wasn't for him. He's so supportive. You don't realise until you've got a child that has quite significant additional needs how much input he needs at school. You know, like Arnie will just go to nursery, he'll be happy, he'll play, he'll listen. Whereas Reg, he's got a one-to-one now, and the difference in him is incredible. And his teacher of the deaf said to me, the first day he met me, he said, "Meg, this next couple of months is going to be a whirlwind because you're going to have so many people, new people in your life, you're going to have so many appointments," and he was so right. The implant team have been great as well. For example, last week we had a problem with one of his coils that just stopped working, and I make one phone call and they've been posted, they're at our house the next day, so he's not without. The support network is amazing. His school has just basically scooped him up, and they've, like, from year 1 to year 6 are even learning signs, so he's ready to go to reception. He's got posters around the school to say how to communicate with me, and so everyone's aware, and it's incredible.
You said that he's having speech and language therapy, obviously with his implants, he's learning more words, he can recognise sounds, he can recognise words that he's familiar with. Oh! As that improves, is your plan to still continue signing and
Absolutely.
make sure that is his language?
Absolutely. I'll be really honest, that's been a bit of a battle. We were kind of told to stop signing to him by the implant team because they're really focused and driven by the speech side. I feel like our views are quite different because he's got his implants, he's a hearing child.
Yeah.
We've had some really difficult challenges with his behaviour, and I think, what are you doing? The only thing that has helped us through is signing, because that's how that's what he understands. It's incredible that he's learning to talk. We were told when he got referred for his implants, you go and have a chat, and basically it's a hard decision to make, because as soon as the risk of losing complete hearing is really high having implants because of how they fit the metal coil in your cochlear.
Yeah.
So even if he had a little bit of natural hearing, the chances of him losing that are high, hence why they don't do it easily. Yeah, you have to meet that threshold. and we went, and because his diagnosis was so delayed, they basically said to us, look, these might not work. He might never be able to hear speech sounds, therefore he may never be able to speak. So instantly we're like, right, sign is going to be his first language. And it's incredible. Like, we've got this way of communicating, and when he's having these difficult behaviours, as soon as he can be communicated to and he can understand and he's understood, his behaviour's changed.
Can you tell me about some of the assumptions that people make when they find out that Reggie is...
I have been told by speech and language that I don't need to, and it's so natural to try and over-exaggerate what you're saying. And for example, a couple of weeks ago he told me he loved me for the first time, and that was, like, I sobbed. But I realised how much I over-exaggerate things because he went, love you. So I'm over-exaggerating the sound. Because I naturally feel like I should, so he can hear that, but I don't. Like, I don't need to do it. And people, I think, talk slowly because he lip reads, and yeah, as long as it's clear and he can see your face, he can keep up. So I think a lot of people assume that you've got to talk loud, slowly, over.
When you look at Reggie, what do you hope the world sees?
Him. Yeah, not a disabled deaf child. Yeah, he's an incredible boy, and definitely should have bought tissues.
Tell me about it. Shall I do it? Okay.
You're ready to be on camera now. Yeah, I hope they see just how incredible he is, and not that, you know, he's deaf, but it's not going to hold him back. And how crazy you are. Yeah, he's just this incredible human being, and yeah, I don't want him to think that he's limited because he's deaf, because, I mean, he's 4 and you've overcome so much already. I fully have faith you're going to do just fine. You're amazing, aren't you?